I saw a question prompt today on Facebook, and it was, what's your most controversial take as a dietitian? And to paraphrase my answer, it's that I never talk to any of my clients about ultra processed foods. You might be thinking, how could you not talk to your clients about ultra processed foods? Isn't that like the number one thing that's killing us? Our definition of ultra processed foods is very vague, and it encompasses a whole group of foods that really vary nutritional. Just to give you a little more clarity on this very vague definition, bread, which is made from foods that you bring together in a chemistry reaction, bread is a processed food, even though it's bread. And then an ultra processed food might be something like chickpea pasta. Me saying that chickpea pasta is ultra processed is also controversial. I had someone try to argue with me that it wasn't because it was just made from chickpeas. I don't know anyone who's making chickpea pasta in their kitchen. If you are, let me know. I guess you could possibly take chickpea flour, but then how did the chickpea flour get made? Is that technically a processed food or ultra processed food? I don't know. Anyway, we're getting away from the point. I don't talk to my clients about ultra processed foods, and that is because that doesn't really help my clients. When people come to see me, they have a general understanding already of what is healthy and what is not. They know that they should eat more fruits and vegetables. They know they should eat more protein. They are not doing that for a myriad of reasons. Could be access, could be they don't know what's out there that can be easy for them to consume, could be behavioral, could be they're a picky eater. They could just avoid things for no reason other than a psychological issue. My job is to improve their health. Generally, you improve someone's health nutritionally by increasing their fiber intake and increasing their protein intake so they're not hungry, and making sure they get adequate calories through fats and carbohydrates so they are well nourished. So that is what I concentrate on: protein, fiber, adequate calories. It does not help my clients to know what an ultra processed food is. So I just go and cut straight to, how do we get you protein, fiber, and adequate calories? And here is where it gets extra complicated, because I find ultra processed foods are extremely helpful sometimes when I'm working with someone. Let's say you have a client who does not like to eat breakfast, but they need to. You cannot force feed them, and drinking something is a lot easier than trying to force them to eat a whole food. And they might not have the ability or time commitment or executive function to make themselves a smoothie, which would be my first suggestion: smoothie. And if they say no, I go, okay, let's cut to this. Protein shake, ultra processed food. It's made from milk, but it's an ultra processed food. Now my client is getting adequate protein in the morning, and then I can play around with other things. Maybe this jump starts their appetite so that I can introduce additional things like a carbohydrate food for adequate calories. I might give them the suggestion of eating fruit. If they can't eat fruit or don't want to, then I will go for a fiber supplement. Technically an ultra processed supplement. But now they're getting protein, fiber, and adequate calories. And maybe this gets their appetite working and they can start eating whole foods as breakfast. But we have to start here. We can't just go eat whole foods. What if they can't? What if they don't want to? F them, I guess. But this could be the gateway that opens them up to getting yogurt for breakfast. But they need to start here. You cannot just change someone's entire behavior, their likes, dislikes, or nausea in the morning. You can't change that. You can't be this immovable object that says you either eat whole foods or you die. You have to get them going. So maybe this is where we start. Maybe this is where we end up. They're still getting protein. They are getting what they need for their health. Maybe you have a client who loves hamburgers. Maybe they were only eating McDonald's and then they had an adverse health effect. And now when you're trying to give them lots of healthy meals, they don't want them. They don't like them. They never ate vegetables growing up, and they're not going to start right now. Maybe they just want red meat. If I give them this, they are getting their protein without the saturated fat. No saturated fat means less likely recurrence of that adverse health incident. But this is an ultra processed food. I don't know anyone who's going to make artificial ground beef that is plant-based and high in protein in their kitchen. But this has saved so many of my picky eater clients from either going, I'll just go back to what I was doing when I had the adverse health event, or now I'm eating a much healthier protein source. And again, I have clients who don't eat fruits and vegetables, and I can't force that on them. I can't go, oh, just try it for me. And I can't go, get out. If you're not going to eat whole foods, then I can't help you. I've got to get them fiber. So some of them eat this. Some of them eat this because they don't have time to sit down to a proper breakfast, but they can put some eggs and cheese in this, and they get their protein and they get their fiber. They don't get a lot of calories, but again, we have to start somewhere. This is an ultra-processed food. You would not be making this at home. I guess you could mix Metamucil and flour if you really wanted to. I don't know how that would come out. But this is something that is easily attainable. There's no cooking involved in it. It's for people who have no time and are struggling with changing their behavior. I have clients who love fruit, and as soon as I'm like, please eat more fruit, they have at it. And that's how they get their fiber. But not everybody's going to do that. So to the people who don't eat the whole foods, do we say, screw you, I guess you'll die? No, we have to meet them where they're at. And then we keep trying to introduce the things that help their health. But getting them on something that gets them 17 grams of fiber per tortilla, that's phenomenal when they weren't eating any fiber at all before. They need that for their health. So that is why I don't educate my clients on ultra-processed foods. I skip that. I think it's a waste of time, and we focus on really the most important things. I try to get them fruits and vegetables and protein and carbs, and where I can't get them fruits and vegetables and protein, I meet them where they're at, and I start them on something, it might be ultra-processed, that they'll eat. If you are going to eat it and it has what you need for your health, then you are improving your health. If you are not going to eat it, because I can tell people to eat fruits and vegetables until I'm blue in the face, and they might never do that. But if I can get them to eat something with fiber every single day, now they're improving their health. A good practitioner understands that humans are complicated, and there is no one-size-fits-all solution. Eat whole foods is never going to work for everybody. And you can insult people and say they're lazy or they're childish, or you can just try to help as many people as you can, whatever it takes to get them the foods that help improve their health. And these foods do. They do. They're not toxic. They're not poisoning us. They just are a different route to getting what people need. And that's what I do, is I try to get people what they need, whatever it takes.